Hello children, and welcome to another episode of Social Sciences. Today we are going to talk about the equatorial regions which are found on both sides of the equator. We also call it the torrid zone. This area experiences both hot and wet climate. Now when we are talking about the equatorial region, we are talking about from the Tropic of Cancer, that is here, to the Tropic of Capricorn. Today we are going to speak about this region. This region is known as the equatorial region. Now, the equatorial region is home to both of the world's densest forests. That means the Amazon in South America, that is exactly here, okay, and the equator also passes through the Amazon basin, as well as the Zaire basin or the Congo, which is in Africa. The equator also passes through the Zaire basin. Now, the torrid zone or the equatorial region has a conventional rainfall pattern, which are frequent and confined to smaller areas, which usually occur at 4 p.m. in the evening. The average temperature is around about 30 degrees centigrade. Now, the equatorial region spreads across almost all the continents, right through. You can see all the continents are more or less coming into the equatorial region. And it includes the Caribbean islands in North America, that means around about here. Then after that, we have Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador in South America. It also includes Liberia, Uganda, Kenya, Republic of Congo, and the Democratic Republic of Congo in Africa. In Asia, it spreads from Malaysia, Maldives, Indonesia, and Philippines. In India, it covers the peninsular region. That means nearly the whole peninsular region is covered in the equatorial region. Now we are going to talk about the equatorial forest, which has dense rainforest. It's like this kind. The bottom we have the forest floor. Now, this region over here is pretty dark. Why? Because a canopy is formed. It's like an umbrella effect which covers the whole of the forest. Therefore, it is very difficult for the sunlight to penetrate. The reason being is that the forest is so thick that the sunlight cannot reach the forest floor. So what we have over here is everybody trying to fight, the trees trying to fight for the sunlight. Now, so we also have creepers that grow along and climb up. Everyone is in a race to get the sunlight. So first thing we have is the forest floor. Then we have the understory. Now when we have an understory, this part gets a little bit more light than the forest floor. Then after that, this is known as the canopy. Why? Because it is a kind of an umbrella which covers the whole forest and does not allow the sunlight to penetrate into the forest floor. And the last one is we have a region known as emergent trees. Why? Because they are the ones that have grown the tallest and that have reached right up so that they can get all the sunlight. I hope you have understood this much. Now we are going to talk about the fauna of these equatorial forests. Now, the equatorial forests have an exotic wildlife. Let's talk about the Amazon. Okay? The Amazon rainforest is the storehouse of the most amazing animal species, like the anaconda. Have you seen the movie The Anaconda? Yes, it's a huge snake. Then we have the glass frog. Glass frog is It's called so because it is more or less sort of transparent. Then we have the golden lion tamarin, which is a monkey, by the way. It is not a lion. Okay, it is just given the name of golden lion because it is gold in color and it has a mane around its head just like a lion. But actually it is a monkey. Now, another thing we have over there in the Amazon rivers are dolphins and iguana. Iguana, we in Assam, they call it guhi. I don't know what you call it in Nagamese, but in Assam they call it guhi. Now, another thing is, now we'll move on to the Congo Basin. The Congo Basin and the forests of Southeast Asia are known for primate species like the gorilla, the chimpanzee, and the orangutan. Gorillas are huge in size. Chimpanzees are more or less like human beings. They are very intelligent. And we have also the orangutan, which is mainly found in Southeast Asia. Now, there are many species of monkeys, like the howler monkey. Like one day when we went to the zoo, we call it the gibbon. That is known as the howler monkey. Then we have a squirrel monkey. Means it looks just like a squirrel more or less. It's quite hairy. And it looks, its behaviors are more or less like that of a squirrel. That's why it is known as a squirrel monkey. Then we have the baboons. The baboons are the most dangerous of all monkeys. And they are really, really very ugly. And they've got blue and red faces. Okay? And all of these inhabit these jungles. Now we go to the birds. Birds like the toucan, macaw, which is a more or less from the parrot family. It is very, very colorful and they are very beautiful. Then we have the hummingbirds, which is supposed to be the smallest bird, and the parakeets. That is another part of the parrot family, which resides in this type of vegetation. So, my dear children, this is about the fauna of the equatorial regions. Okay, now we are going to talk about the natives of this place, or the people of these regions. Okay, first of all, it is very difficult to live in an environment such as this. Means thick jungle, forests. So mainly people like natives and the tribals are the inhabitants of these regions. Like, for example, the pygmies, that means the shortest people in the world, the pygmies of the Congo Basin, that is in Africa. The Jaroas of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, that is off India, that is close to India. In fact, it's Indian territory. Then we have the Simang of Malaysia, the Kubu of Sumatra, and the Dayaks of Borneo. Many of these tribes are nomadic. Now, how do they live in these regions? You have to eat to survive. So there are two ways in which they farm. First one is known as sustenance farming, and the other one is known as shifting cultivation. When we talk about sustenance farming, it is just enough, they farm just enough land so that they can sustain themselves as well as their families. That means only a small portion of land they do farming. Now when we're talking about shifting cultivation, now we have shifting cultivation in Nagaland too. Now, for example, one family, they cultivate this area. Then after that, say for 5 years, let's say for 5 years. Then after that, when the land has lost all its minerals or its value, then they shift again to another area. They leave this area over here so that it can regrow and it will recoup itself. Then after that, same thing, another 5 years or 6 years, it depends on the land. Then again, they start moving. And then again, they carry on moving from one place to the other, and eventually after many years they come back to the same place. This is known as shifting cultivation. Now, these groups that are using shifting cultivation, they usually stay in a single place. Farming is done somewhere else, they stay in a village. Now, when they are in the village, they carry out livestock rearing, like for example, cows, hens, ducks, pigs, goats, so that they get their meat. And many other different, animals also they rear, which they eat. Now, that is what we call, for this group, that is the shifting cultivation, okay? Now, another thing that the rivers give us. The rivers drain these forests and offer inland navigation and fishing opportunities. Now, minerals such as natural gas and petroleum are also mined in the Amazon forest. Copper and precious stones are mined in the Congo basin. Now, all these stones and natural gases and petroleum, now we have a lot of oil companies that are coming around, okay, and they are offering to take away the space. That is why, let us say, the people are losing their places and they are now beginning to live with the animals. Now the Amazon forest, let me get back to the Amazon forest. The Amazon forest, okay, is also known as the lungs of the earth. Why? Because they absorb a lot of carbon dioxide from the air and they give us fresh air. Now, we need to look after our habitat and we need to look after our forests. And we need also to grow many more trees so that, we get good oxygen in the earth, because the population is increasing and the air is getting polluted. So we need to grow more trees and look after our environment. Thank you, sweethearts. If you have any other doubts or anything, you can feel free to ring me up. And please watch the PPTs, because I will be uploading all the pictures of all the animals and the different types of people that are there that we have spoken about today. Thank you and have a good day.